welcome to the Culture Ward, where we dissect and dismantle pop culture in all its forms. This week, the conclusion of the Wicked saga, Wicked for Good, was released in theaters and seems poised to make an assload of money for some reason. These movies and the press tour surrounding them are a perfect example of the miserable state of the modern entertainment industry, and one of the reasons we continue to get such dull, recycled, rebooted, derivative garbage from Hollywood, as well as bizarre, unsettling public behavior by celebrities. Join us as we dive into this weird, wicked phenomenon. Before we begin, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and help us grow the channel. As always, it really means a lot to us. And don't forget to like and share the video if you enjoy the content. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Wicked, a big-budget musical film based on the Tony Award-winning Broadway musical of the same name, starring Ariana Grande and this person, Cynthia Erivo. It's colorful, it's grand, and it's oh so very gay. People love it, apparently. Well, some people love it, like women and
the gays.
But that's enough, isn't it? I mean, there's millions of women and gay guys in America, and they have money to spend. Now, this movie might be more impressive to me if it was an original concept. It's a fantasy musical with elaborate set pieces, inspiring music with some supposedly good vocal performances, and it's clearly a very polished and attractive production. But besides being
super gay,
it's also one of the most derivative pieces of slop that has ever been produced. And the stars of the movie, these two golems,
The light of the day. You are such a gift.
are really weird, and they kind of creep normal people out. Anyway, let's first talk about the movie. So Wicked and Wicked for Good, as I mentioned, are big-budget film adaptations of the Broadway musical Wicked that has been touring since about 2005 and has garnered multiple awards and accolades. And I'm not going to shit on musical theater here. I myself have dabbled in the past, having enjoyed my share of musicals like The Phantom of the Opera and Les Miserables, but it's certainly not for everyone. And this award-winning stage musical is actually an adaptation of the novel Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, written by Gregory Maguire, which was published in 1995. Now, I actually read that book about 20 years ago and kind of enjoyed it. At least 20-year younger me enjoyed it. It was the first in a series of books known as the Wicked Years, which includes Son of a Witch, A Lion Among Men, and Out of Oz. Now, this series, beginning with Wicked, was actually based on the characters and setting from a much older movie. You may have heard of it, called The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz was first released in 1939, starring Judy Garland as Dorothy, a farm girl from Kansas who ends up in the fantastical land of Oz after a tornado picks up her house and deposits it there. And Dorothy has to fight the Wicked Witch of the West after her house inadvertently falls on and kills her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East, and Dorothy is assisted by Galinda, the Good Witch of the North, on her journey to seek help from the Wizard of Oz in Emerald City. Now, no spoilers in case you still haven't seen this 90-year-old classic from the golden age of cinema, but just know that the Wizard of Oz was a cultural phenomenon that has endured for almost a century. Every year, for decades, there used to be a special airing of the movie on network television, and it was always a special event, in the days before online streaming or even mass production of home videos. And I know as a kid, I always looked forward to it. It was a classic. It's a groundbreaking film, beautiful cinematography, and filmed in Technicolor. It's fun, endearing, and endlessly entertaining. Now, that movie was also a musical, containing some of the most famous musical numbers in all of cinema, such as and of course, the ubiquitous
Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly.
It too was an adaptation of a 1902 stage musical brought to life for the masses to be enjoyed for generations. And it worked. It has become a benchmark of popular culture. But even the stage play that was adapted to make the Wizard of Oz film was itself an adaptation of another work, the literary classic The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, first published in 1900. It is a children's fantasy adventure novel inspired by Baum's own life experiences and drawn from his vivid imagination purely for the wonderment of children. Now, decades after its publication, scholars began arguing about whether the original book was actually a political allegory, focusing on the rise of American populism and the so-called bimetallism debate of the 19th century, which dealt with the shift from the gold standard to the silver standard. But most likely, it was just a children's fairy tale, although I guess it's possible some of Baum's political opinions found their way into the book. Whatever, it is at the very least a children's book, and that's all it ever needed to be. It was extremely successful, selling more than 3 million copies by the mid-1950s when it entered the public domain, and it was beloved by children. In fact, after its publication, thousands of children wrote letters to Baum requesting more stories about Oz. He relented, albeit grudgingly, beginning in 1904 when he published The Marvelous Land of Oz. He then wrote additional sequels in 1907, 08, 09, and in 1910 when he wrote The Emerald City of Oz. In that book, he stated that it would be the last one because Ozland had lost contact with the rest of the world, trying to get out of doing any more sequels. However, fans refused to accept this explanation and begged for more stories anyway, and accordingly in 1913 he relented once again, and thereafter, every year until his death in 1919, he published a subsequent sequel, totaling 14 books overall. When asked why he kept writing the books despite his own misgivings, he stated, quote, "To please a child is a sweet and a lovely thing that warms one's heart and brings its own reward." Well, fast forward more than a century after L. Frank Baum's original literary masterpiece, and we come to the present-day state of Hollywood and the entertainment industry. In the latest movie, which is part 2 of a 2-part film series, adapting a Broadway musical, which adapts a derivative novel, which adapts a film adaptation of a Broadway musical, adapting a classic children's book, and finally, we get Wicked for Good, a cinematic musical extravaganza exploring the life of the Wicked Witch of the West herself, Elphaba. Now, normally, I wouldn't even care about this movie or its pedigree. It's not made for people like me, normal, straight males. It is very much a product for a target audience, one that is gay! And that's fine. There are plenty of movies, some arguably good movies, that have a target audience that I'm not a part of, and that doesn't bother me at all. But this movie in particular seems to signal a symptom of a disease that has been festering in Hollywood for years now. Not only is it a hyper-derivative, soulless rehashing of a classic story in a year filled with derivative, soulless rehash slop, it's also accompanied by a marketing campaign and press tour that have been flamboyantly cringe-inducing, and the media has gone out of its way to try to elevate this garbage to high art. And perhaps most frustratingly, it seems to have worked, at least on the target audience, which again happens to be primarily white liberal women, who have thus far gone out in droves to prop these movies up at the box office, and the award shows apparently. The first Wicked film, released last year, brought in $759 million at the box office, and picked up 10 Academy Award nominations, including a nomination for Best Picture. The newest installment is expected to have a monumental opening weekend, and will most likely at least match the box office run of the previous film, undoubtedly making it one of the highest grossing films of this year. And that bothers me because it has the effect of normalizing these kinds of derivative, soulless, rehashed stories. Hollywood keeps throwing slop at us, and we keep eating it up, driving them to copy and repeat ad infinitum. While simultaneously bemoaning the lack of creativity and imagination in Hollywood, we keep applauding and consuming their content that lacks creativity and imagination. What is wrong with us? And that brings us to another important point, the press tour. Specifically, the behavior of the two leading actresses in these films, Ariana Grande, who plays Galinda, the Good Witch, and Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, the Wicked Witch. Now, first of all, why have they turned into skeletons? I mean, look at these before and after pictures. You can also see Michelle Yeoh, who likewise appears in the movies, also appearing to have become emaciated during the production cycle for some reason. That's kind of strange, right? But let's take a look at some of the weird shit these actresses have said and done in interviews and press events.
I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know that was happening. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Oh,
you
man.
are very good. You are very good.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. And I hope you will be there for the rest of my life.
I will be. It's been the privilege of my life.
You're the most open person I've ever worked with. Just so open and willing and generous and kind. So I worked with you as well. You know, I would with the Ariana Grande.
Again, what is wrong with these people? And not just these two particular people, but celebrities in general. Why are they so weird? More importantly, why do regular people keep propping them up? Again, by throwing money at productions like Wicked, we are at least tacitly approving of the bizarre public behavior of these public weirdos. I mean, creative types likely have always been a little weird, probably since the beginning of time. It's a well-studied phenomenon that creative people are more likely to suffer from mental illness like depression, ADHD, or other emotional or psychological peculiarities. It's one of the drawbacks of genetic engineering that attempts to isolate and eliminate genes associated with mental and emotional impairments. If you get rid of all the depression patients, you risk getting rid of all the artists. But in the past, at least in the 20th century anyway, it seems like they did a better job of hiding their depravity from the public. Celebrities had crafted and controlled public personas, allowing them to be elevated to revered status and prevented them from negatively affecting studio profits and public perception. Celebrities' private lives were, for the most part, well, private, elusive, mysterious. Hell, they were probably more interesting when we had to guess what they were like off screen. It's one of the reasons movie stars were movie stars. Well, no more. Social media and modernity have completely demolished the wall separating public and private affairs. And celebrities, most of them anyway, can't help but plaster their private lives all over the airwaves. And most normal people are naturally repelled by what they see. Thankfully, most normal people still retain a modicum of decency and sense of morality so as to be repelled by the twisted private lives of most celebrities. But back to these two specifically. I don't even know what to think about it. I don't know if I'd necessarily call this depravity, but whatever it is, it's certainly unhinged and unsettling. And again, the access media just plays along like this is just normal everyday stuff, never questioning, always praising, almost to the point of absurdity. Like this reporter's bizarre interview question about auras.
If you had to describe each other's aura, what color would it be?
That's a nice question. An aura.
Yellow.
For me?
Sunshine. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And like also, I think there's also purple.
That was very good. I see like a ciel blue. You know, like aqua.
Wow,
and like,
I'm so moved by that response.
It's so specific,
This
isn't
is
it?
so-
Sorry, it's very specific. And
And
like sunset orange.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yours is pink.
It's lovely. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is actually.
We love you very much.
That's a
This was
lovely-
really fun.
Or like when GQ magazine named Cynthia Erivo Man of the Year? Wait, what? Why? Oh, never mind. I don't think I want to know. You know, it's been obvious for some time now that the mainstream media and entertainment apparatus, including Hollywood, has been trying to change the way people think, trying to mold society into something different. There was a viral video of an interview a while back where a BlackRock CEO openly admitted to, quote, forcing behavior in order to change the way people act.
You have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race, you're going to be impacted, and that's not...
So, social engineering, in other words. And I think that must be what's going on with this stuff. They must have some agenda in supporting this type of thing, trying to mold society into a new paradigm. Thankfully, I think a lot of people have caught on, at least subconsciously, and have started tuning out of this shit, finding other avenues and outlets for media and entertainment. And there even seems to be a modicum of capitulation on Hollywood's part, with studios at least claiming to be scaling back, quote, woke policies and programming, although in practice we haven't seen much scaling back yet. But then you get a big media spectacle and event like that surrounding Wicked, and certain sectors of society enthusiastically cheer it on. It feels like a step backward, and it's kind of depressing. And as long as we, the paying customers, continue to pay for products like Wicked, or like the upcoming Avatar sequel, another product of modern Hollywood that elevates visual spectacle over quality storytelling and art, and we continue to prop up these weirdo creatives and their outlandish public conduct, we virtually guarantee a continuation of the status quo. However, all that being said, I will reiterate that there have been some encouraging signs in recent years, most obviously through the box office failures that have dominated the market since 2019. It appears, at least, that people are starting to use their buying power to send a message. And it seems, anyway, that Hollywood executives are starting to pay attention. We've even seen in recent memory pressure applied to rein in obnoxious actors. Remember the saga of Rachel Zegler?
Oh no! What happened? Oh no, how terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Hell, there may have even been some attempt to curtail the actor's weirdness during the current marketing campaign for Wicked. A few days before the movie opened, they allegedly stopped doing interviews, claiming that Cynthia Erivo lost her voice. And Ariana Grande then claimed that she would likewise not be making any appearances in solidarity with her co-star. I mean, that's weird by itself, and judging by their peculiar relationship, could be perfectly true, but there's at least some speculation that this was intentional damage control orchestrated by the studio. Anything to keep these two from further public embarrassment in advance of the movie's premiere. So maybe, again, it's a good sign that the excesses of Hollywood are starting to dry up. I mean, long gone are the days of the movie star, but maybe we can return to some semblance of the glamour days of the entertainment industry, if the pressure is kept on. Maybe this whole Wicked phenomenon is just a bump in the road, a last dying gasp of creative bankruptcy and celebrity cringe, driven largely by obnoxious people propping up other obnoxious people. We, the normal people, or what passes for normal these days, just have to stay the course and fight the urge to engage in the spectacle. Most importantly, we must call out this stuff when we see it. Don't let it go unmocked when actors and celebrities engage in creepy and eccentric antics like this in public. We can't let them think we approve, lest we lose precious ground in our long march toward normalcy. Well, what do you think? Are you going to go see Wicked in theaters? What do you make of the bizarre behavior of Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo? Join the conversation in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Bye for now. We hope to see you next time in the Culture Wars.